And here is the Writer's Almanac for Wednesday. It's the 3rd of November, 2021. It's the birthday of the poet William Cullen Bryant, born Cummington, Massachusetts, 1794. Started writing poems when he was 9 years old. His best-known poem, Thanatopsis, written when he was 17. The outlaw who called himself Black Bart the poet robbed his last stagecoach on this date in 1883, a Wells Fargo stagecoach not far from San Francisco. His real name was Charles E. Bowles, born in England, moved to this country when he was an infant. He'd served in the Civil War, eventually wound up in San Francisco. He's believed to have robbed 28 Wells Fargo stagecoaches. He never fired a shot. He was afraid of horses, so he was always on foot, and he was always very polite, asking the coach drivers to please throw down your strongbox, refusing to take anything from the female passengers, even if they offered them. At the stagecoach he robbed on this day in 1883, he left behind a suitcase which contained a handkerchief which bore a laundry mark, and Wells Fargo detectives tracked him down, and he was sentenced to 6 years in San Quentin prison. The last public execution at Tyburn Gallows in London took place on this date in 1783, Tyburn near the western end of what is now Oxford Street. There had been a tree there, the Tyburn tree, where criminals were hung, and people would travel from miles around to watch these public executions. But eventually the people of Tyburn decided it was not in good taste to hang people out in public in the main street of their village. And the last person to be executed from the Tyburn tree was a highwayman, John Austin, who had befriended a traveler and then robbed and killed him. It's the birthday of the playwright Terence McNally, 1939, St. Petersburg, Florida, whose first big success was in 1987 with Frankie and Johnny at the Clair de Lune, story of a cook and a waitress who find love in the diner where they both work. Here's a poem for today by Eleanor Lerman entitled What the Dark-Eyed Angel Knows. A man is begging on his knees in the subway, 6:30 in the morning, and already we are being presented with moral choices as we rocket along the old rails through the old tunnels between Queens and Manhattan. Soon angels will come crashing through the ceiling, wailing in the voices of the castrati, "Won't you give this pauper bread or money?" And a monster hurricane is coming. We all heard about it on the radio at dawn. By nightfall, drowned hogs will be floating like poisoned soap bubbles on the tributaries of every southern river. Children will be orphaned, and the infrastructure of whole cities will be overturned. No one on the East Coast will be able to make a phone call, and we will be boiling our water for days. And of course there are the serial killers, and the Crips and the Bloods, and the arguments about bilingual education, and the fact that all the clothing made by slave labor overseas is not only the product of an evil system, but maybe worse, never even fits. So why is it that all I can think of, and will think of, through the torrential rains to come, and the howling night, is you, sighing so deeply in the darkness, you and the smell of you, and the wind-swept curve of your cheek. If this train ever stops, I will ask that dark-eyed angel, the one who hasn't spoken yet. He looks like he might know. A poem by Eleanor Lerman, What the Dark-Eyed Angel Knows, from The Mystery of Meteors, published by Saraban Books and used by permission here on the Writer's Almanac. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.